Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Devin and today we're going to be drawing a portrait of a woman. This portrait, the reference photo actually comes from Howard Lyons. He has a great selection of reference photos that you can purchase, and this is the first time that I've ever drawn one of his reference photos, but it was so much fun. And yeah, he has a really great selection of reference photos. I definitely would check him out if you're interested. So this is actually going to be video number 1 of 2. This one is just going to be the drawing portion. I do end up going over with a light wash of a warm brown, and then later on in part 2 you'll see me go ahead and paint it with black and white gouache. I'm so excited for you guys to see it. I love it. It turned out really good. I like having the contrast of the warm brown with the black and white. It might not be everybody's favorite, but personally I really do like the contrast. I love the warmth of the burnt sienna color. And I do that color as a background or as just a light wash for any of my paintings for the most part. I think it just kills the white of the paper really nicely, and I like it when it shows through. So you might be able to tell that I'm actually measuring this with my pencil. I have the reference photo up on my iPad right next to my paper, and I like to measure with my pencil. Personally, I just find that to be the easiest method to go about it. Some people use a compass. There's a million ways that you can measure with a portrait or with a drawing in general. It's just my preferred method. I feel like it's tried and true and it works really well. So you might see me go back and forth holding my pencil a weird way, and that's all that's going on. I'm just measuring my reference to my drawing. I'm sorry if you hear whining in the background. That is my puppy. He's a big baby, and he's not happy that I'm doing a voiceover right now. So recently I've stopped being worried about how long a portrait takes me to finish. I really like the progress and the process of the whole portrait drawing, and of getting to the finished product is fun, but I like the process, especially the beginning. Like drawing the eyes and the facial features, that's so much fun to me. I just try and take my time with it now. A couple years ago, I really took pride in the fact that I could draw a portrait in 30 minutes, and while that's all great, fine, and wonderful, I definitely see more value in having a portrait that you took time with, that you're proud of, and that actually looks decent because you took that time and the effort. You didn't rush through it. So I think that this whole drawing took well over 2 or 3 hours. You see now where I draw the initial drawing, I go over it with the burnt sienna background, I think. I just go over it with casein. Casein is a paint that is permanent once it's down. It's not like gouache where it reactivates. I know like James Gurney uses it a lot. I only have the burnt sienna color in my collection right now, and it's for that sole purpose of just using it as a background or just to kill the white of the paper. So you'll see me later, I do put a layer down, but I end up changing my mind. I go back through and I add a little bit more value to the drawing, just so that I have a solid reference to go on when I go ahead and use the gouache. For some reason, I always get nervous when the gouache comes out and I start painting. I always second guess my choices, so I like to have a really solid drawing, a really solid underdrawing done, so that I know that I'm confident when I go in with gouache that it's going to be accurate. So if you're like me and you get nervous when you start to paint and you have all your paints out, and I just like to keep things simple. So I like to keep things simple for all of my materials, to be honest with you. Right now I'm just using a very basic sketchbook. I honestly think I'm going to switch it just because I really don't like the texture of it. When I get into the painting portion of it, it's even more evident that I don't like the texture of it. It's very frustrating to work with, and that's just my preference. You might really like the texture. If you like a cold press paper with the bumps and the teeth and the texture, then by all means go for it. I definitely really love hot pressed. And there's a couple reasons for that. I like to use mixed media. So I use a lot of gouache and colored pencil together. So colored pencil, while it works well with cold pressed paper, I just really like the velvety smoothness of hot pressed. So otherwise, all that I'm using is that mechanical pencil you'll see here. I literally just bought it in a pack of like 50 when school was back in session a couple months ago. It's nothing special. It's actually probably going to die soon. And I think I do end up pulling out just like a pencil top eraser. It's, again, nothing special. I'm not going out and using super expensive pencils or paper, anything like that. And while I have those things, I just don't necessarily feel like it's important to have a great end result with. I don't think that you need to have the most expensive materials, especially if you're just learning. It's not necessary. I do see where there's a lot of value if you're like learning how to paint and you feel like you might need the best paints because artist paints are significantly better than student grade paints. I understand that mentality. I personally agree with that. But as far as drawing goes, I don't think it's necessary to have, the Sennelier pencils or whatever. I mean, I personally just use inexpensive, very easy to find materials just to make the stress of drawing, of having that perfectionism in the back of your mind, of wanting it to turn out so good, so you're using the best materials you can find. No, I don't like to think like that. I definitely prefer to be a little bit more relaxed about it and just use the absolute basics. So as I'm watching this back and doing the voiceover, I do have the finished piece right next to me, and I'm so excited for you guys to see it. I just have so much fun painting with gouache, and just the process of, having a blank piece of paper and then having a finished product is just so fulfilling and satisfying to me. But I am really excited for you guys to see it, so make sure that you keep an eye out for part 2. Let me know if you guys like these longer styled videos as well. I know personally I love to watch longer videos. That's my dog Luna in the background if you can hear that. I like to have longer videos. I don't know why. I feel like it's like a book. I like to read longer books. I feel like you get so much more information with a longer video, and I just appreciate it. So it's currently Tuesday. It's a Tuesday afternoon, and here in upstate New York, we're actually planning on getting some snow, and I'm so not ready for it. I really hate snow. I don't like being cold, and I'm actually moving farther up north soon, so I guess I better get used to it. But I'm actually kind of excited because it's the first snowfall of the year and it's beautiful. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, snow is beautiful. I just dislike driving in it, to be honest with you. I don't like cleaning it off my car. And a lot of people don't know how to drive in the snow, so it's actually a pretty dangerous situation sometimes. There's lots of accidents that happen. But don't get me wrong, it is beautiful. I'm just not ready for it. It's way too early, I feel like. It's not even Thanksgiving yet, and there's already, I think we're supposed to get like 3 to 6 inches, which is just crazy to me. Sometimes we don't even have snow by the end of December, like by Christmas time. Sometimes we don't even get snow by then. So it's I feel like it's too early. I'm not ready. So at this point, I'm just trying to add in the general shape of her hair. I really don't like drawing and painting hair, so I'm not trying to get into it too detailed, just the very basic shape of light and dark. she does have a lot of texture to her hair, a lot of curls and noise and static. It's kind of what it looks like. So I am just putting in the basic shapes, nothing too detailed. But anyways, back to the snow. It just looks so gloomy outside. It looks like it could just dump snow on us at any second. It's always kind of funny, like the first snowfall of the year, you can tell it's gonna snow. Like it's so funny because last week it was so warm outside. It was like the upper 60s. I had all the windows cranked open, got so much fresh air in the house. And then now it's like 30 degrees as a high, and the sky just looks so mad. But I'm pretty excited for it, as much as I hate shoveling and snowblowing and driving through it. All right, so this portion we're going to go through with the casein. As you can see, it's like a really warm, I think it's a burnt sienna, and I just go over very lightly. I do just go over lightly at this part, and then I end up going back to the drawing later on. I think I ended up forgetting that I wanted to add more value, or I decided later on that I wanted to just add more value. So I felt more comfortable with the painting portion. Again, I do get nervous when I take the paint out, and I am always afraid I'm going to mess up, and I don't know why I'm so nervous about that. But my computer sounds like it's going to explode. Hold on. Okay, much better. So I end up going back in after that initial layer of casein, and I just add value to my drawing. Right now I just have a line drawing, and I think it's like a couple years ago I would have been comfortable painting over this, but I just want to be more comfortable going at this approach. I don't love the feeling of not knowing how it's going to turn out. And I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of traffic going by with big trucks. I think they are just getting ready for the snow. So if you can hear that, I'm so sorry. I need to start doing a voiceover at night or something so you can't hear any of the commotion going on. But I do love this part. I like the way how the portrait really takes shape and how you can really start to see her features a little bit better. It makes more sense than just a line drawing. So yeah, I'm just going through with some value, again, with just that regular mechanical pencil. I feel like it just gives me a solid base for when I go ahead and use gouache. As I mentioned before, I did not use a grid for this. I just measured everything with my pencil, and it just makes me feel so happy to know that I got this result with just a pencil. Of course, I don't think that there's anything wrong with using a grid. I will use them in the future, especially with commissions, and if I decide to draw something as a gift. It's just kind of the situation where you want to get it done, and you want to get it done the right way, and the only way to guarantee that for me is if I use a grid. So for my own personal learning and progress and improvement, I'm going to go ahead and try and stay away from using a grid in my personal work. I just think that the best way to improve is if I'm just getting rid of the thing that is holding me back the most, which is the grid. It's a huge crutch for me. I've used it for years. Ever since I started drawing, I've been using the grid as my main form of trying to get proportions done correctly. So I think it was back in like September, I actually sat down, I wrote myself an itinerary, and after work every day, or whenever I had a couple minutes, I would take time out of my day and specifically sit down and draw. Another big truck is going by, I'm sorry. So I would sit down and I would draw, and I went through a lot of different books. My favorite one is Loomis, The Head and Hands. That's a great reference. If you don't have it, I think it's free online for a digital copy. I love the way Loomis measures out his drawings. I just like the way that they look, especially with women who typically have softer features, especially like around the mouth and the cheekbones. It's very soft. I actually do struggle with that in the painting portion of this drawing, but you'll see that later. But that reference is such a good reference. If you're looking for something like that, I would highly recommend it. And for me, I do work a regular 40-hour-a-week job, so it's hard for me to cut out time to just sit down and draw. But it's been very rewarding. I mean, looking at this drawing right now where it is, and then looking back to what I was drawing a couple months ago, it's like night and day. It's hard for me to remember that I took a couple years off of drawing, and while I still had my drawing materials and I still like to doodle here and there, I wasn't drawing this every day. Do you know what I mean? So I was kind of out of practice. So being able to improve that quickly, just over a couple of months, has been very rewarding. Next thing I really would like to be more solid in is color. I have struggled with color since the very beginning, and if you look back at my old videos, again, you'll see I pretty much do a lot of black and white work. I love black and white. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. It's timeless. It's gorgeous. So yeah, I think that black and white work just looks so beautiful. But I really would like to be able to paint with color and be able to do so confidently. If I were to approach a colored painting and it wasn't like a portrait of a pet or a still life or something, I would not be comfortable. I don't know. I've never been comfortable with color. I have a really hard time mixing colors, and I'm just not confident with it. So I definitely want to improve that area, and I'll definitely document it for you guys so you guys can see it. So anyways, I think that we're getting near the end here. So before we finish, I just wanted to go ahead and mention, I think I had mentioned it earlier, that once you put that layer of casein over the pencil, it makes it so that your pencil marks are permanent. It won't smudge with future layers of paint, which is why I really like to use it. And you just have to wait for it to dry, and then everything is solid underneath there. And you'll see me go ahead with that second layer in just a couple seconds. I'm so excited for you guys to see part 2. I really love the way that this turned out. You'll have to keep an eye out for it, and I hope that you like it as much as I do, because I'm really hyping it up. And I'm just really proud of the way that it turned out. I just tried to relax and calm down and make it very obvious to myself that it's okay if mistakes happen. This drawing, of course, is not perfect. There's definitely some improvement that could have been made, but overall I'm so happy with the way that this turned out, and I'm so happy I got it on video so I could show you guys and I could share it with you. Anyways, I think that that's it for today. If you like this video, then go ahead and subscribe for more videos like this. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will definitely get back to you. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.